Morning, guys. All are getting my screen and voice. Please confirm.
Recording in progress.
All are getting my screen and voice. Please confirm in chat box. Online candidates, all are getting my screen and voice. Right. So today we are going to start with AWS Cloud, guys. Today we are going to start with AWS Cloud. To attend for this AWS Cloud, what are the prerequisites, guys? Is there any prerequisites to attend for this AWS Cloud? Yes, guys. Linux basics are required, guys. Prerequisites to attend for this AWS Cloud is Linux basics. Already we have completed this Linux, guys. If anybody is not attended for this Linux sessions, then you guys can take the backup videos and go through these Linux basics, guys. To attend for this AWS Cloud, Linux basics are important. Prerequisites for this course is Linux basics. Next, what is the duration of this AWS Cloud? Duration of this AWS Cloud, 30 days it will take, guys. 30 days we are going to spend on this AWS Cloud only. 30 days we are going to spend on this AWS Cloud. Today is the first session, guys. Today is the first session on AWS Cloud. This Linux part is completed. If anybody is not attended for this Linux sessions, then you guys can take the backup videos and go through those Linux basics. Why? Because for this AWS Cloud, Linux basics are very, very important. And how many days this AWS Cloud will take? 30 days it will take. Total duration of the AWS Cloud is 30 days, guys. Right. Timings, guys. Right. 7:45 a.m. to 9:15 a.m. 9:15 a.m. guys. Monday to Saturday. Monday to Saturday. Monday to Saturday, 7:45 a.m. to 9:15 a.m. guys. Guys, have a look into this. Today we are going to start AWS Cloud. Today is the first session. To attend for this AWS Cloud, what are the prerequisites? Linux basics are important. Right? How many days this AWS Cloud will take? 30 days we are going to spend on this AWS Cloud. Right, what is the class timings? 7:45 to 9:15 a.m. Monday to Saturday classes will happen, guys. Monday to Saturday classes will happen, regular classes. Okay, right. So what we are going to discuss in this AWS Cloud? What we are going to discuss in this AWS Cloud, guys? I think already I have given the course content. Right, once again, I'm going to give the course content. What I am going to discuss in this AWS Cloud. And first, guys, we are going to discuss what is cloud computing. AWS Cloud is one of the cloud computing, guys. Right? What is cloud computing? We are going to discuss. What is cloud computing? Right? If you go with cloud computing, what advantages we have? Advantages with cloud computing. Advantages with cloud computing. Alright. So next here in AWS, what services we are going to discuss? Overview. Overview of the AWS services. Overview of the AWS services. What services we are going to discuss? What is the purpose of each and every service we are going to discuss it here? Next here, regions. In AWS, we have several regions are available. What is the regions and what is availability zones? What is the regions and availability zones? Regions, under these regions we have multiple availability zones. One region can contain multiple availability zones. See here, we are connecting to Mumbai region. Mumbai region have three availability zones: AP South 1A, AP South 1B, AP South 1C. Like that, one region can contain multiple availability zones. And here we are going to discuss total how many regions AWS have, how many availability zones AWS have. Everything we are going to discuss it here. Right. Next, data centers. What is a data center? What is data center? Availability zone is nothing but one data center, guys. One availability zone is nothing but one data center. What is the data center? Outside of the data center, how it look like? Inside the data center, how it look like? We are going to discuss. Next one is EC2. This is the first service, guys. EC2. Very, very important service. EC2. If you want to create the virtual machines, if you want to create the Linux virtual machines or Windows virtual machines, right, we need to use this EC2 service. Right, to create the virtual machines, we are going to use this EC2 service. What is EC2 stands for? Elastic Compute Cloud. Elastic Compute Cloud. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. We will use this EC2 service to create the virtual machines. Next, at EBS, in this EC2 only, we are going to discuss what is the security groups, what is key pair, right? Inside the security groups, how to add the inbound rules, how to add the outbound rules, how to create the key pair, what is public key pair, what is private key pair, everything we are going to discuss in this EC2 only. What we are going to discuss in EC2, guys? Right, in this EC2, how to create the Windows virtual machine, how to create the Linux virtual machine, right? What is the security group? How to create the custom security group? How to configure the inbound rules in the custom security group? How to configure the outbound rules in the security group? What is key pair? What is public key pair? What is private key pair? All those things we are going to discuss in EC2. This is very, very important service, guys. If you want to create the virtual machines, we need to use this EC2 service only. Once this EC2 service is completed, we are going to talk about Elastic Block Store. We will call it as EBS. EBS stands for what? Elastic Block Store. Elastic Block Store. So this is the storage device, guys. EBS is a storage device. Whenever we created the virtual machine, either it is a Linux machine or Windows machine, we will get some storage, guys. Right? For Windows machine, by default we will get 30 GB space. For Linux machines, by default we will get 8 GB space. 8 GB space we will get, guys. See here, whenever you have terminated the instances, right, that spaces, that storage devices also will be terminated. By default, whatever you are getting, whenever you terminated the instances, those storages also will be terminated. But if you want to store your personal data, if you want to store important data, right, if you store in that default storage device, right, your data also you will lose when you terminated the instance. Then what we need to do? Right, we need to create additional volumes. Additional storages we need to create. How to create the additional volumes? How to attach the additional volumes to these EC2 instances? How to detach the additional volumes? How to take the backup of the volume? Snapshots. Based on which configuration, based on which lifecycle manager we need to take the snapshot. All those things we are going to discuss in EBS. EBS stands for Elastic Block Store. This is kind of storage, guys. Right. So next we are going to discuss about ELB. ELB, guys. ELB stands for what? ELB stands for what? Elastic Load Balancer. Elastic elastic load balancer. See guys, here what is this load balancer guys? Right, we are going to handle the traffic with this load balancer guys. We are going to handle the traffic. We are going to distribute the traffic to multiple servers by using this load balancer. Right, in real time, the companies, we will deploy our application into the multiple servers, not in single server. If you take Gmail application or Facebook application, right, YouTube application, any kind of applications, Amazon, Flipkart, right, they will deploy that application into the multiple servers, not in a single server. If you deploy in single server, what it will happen? Suddenly, traffic is increased. If traffic is increased, suddenly your servers will get crash. Your servers will get crash, guys. That's why, right, they will deploy the application into multiple servers. If you deploy the application in multiple servers, how you will distribute the load to all those servers? How you will distribute the load to all those servers? This load balancer will take care of that, distributing the load to the multiple servers again. Right? Elastic load balancer, it will distribute the load to multiple servers. Right? Next we are going to talk about, right, ELB. ELB we discussed, right? Next after ELB, right, auto scaling group, AAC. AAC stands for what? Auto scaling group. Right, here what we are going to do with this auto scaling group, right, we can scale up, we can scale down. Right, scale up is nothing but, right, based on the traffic demand, we need to increase the number of servers automatically. Based on the traffic demand, if required, we need to decrease the servers automatically. Right, suddenly traffic is increased. Right, per minute I am getting 1 lakh requests. Per minute I am getting 1 lakh requests. Okay, for 1 lakh request, whatever the servers I have, those servers are sufficient. Right, suddenly my traffic is increased. Per minute I am getting 10 lakhs requests. Right, to handle that 10 lakh requests per minute, right, the existing servers are not sufficient. Right, my servers can handle only 1 lakh requests only per minute. If you want to handle 10 lakh requests, right, I want 10 more servers. Right, automatically I want to increase those number of 10 servers. Right, okay, again your business, right, traffic got reduced, guys. Again we are getting 1 minute per minute 1 lakh requests only. Right, whatever the servers are increased, I want to decrease those servers automatically. For that we are going to discuss scale up and scale down. Scaling we are going to discuss. Guys, please have a look into this course content. Before going to discuss the things, first we have clear clarity on the course content, what we are going to learn. See guys, right, we are going to discuss cloud computing. AWS is one of the cloud computing, guys. Right, first I am going to talk what is cloud computing. Next, if you go with cloud computing, what advantages we have. Right, overview of the AWS services. What services we are going to discuss in AWS, that overview I am going to give first. Right, here regions are available. What regions are available in AWS? Right, around 26 regions are available. 26 regions are available. And under this 26 regions, how many availability zones are available? Right, data centers. Right, one availability zone is equal to one data center. Right, outside of the data center, how it look like? Inside the data center, how it look like? Right, those things we are going to discuss. Next, EC2, Elastic Cloud Computing. Elastic Compute Cloud. See, if you want to create the virtual machines, we need to use this EC2 service. EBS, Elastic Block Store. Right, if you want to add any additional volumes, any additional storages, we need to go with the EBS. Next, ELB, Elastic Load Balancer. ASG, Auto Scaling Group. Up to here, clear? Right. So next, guys, after this we are going to talk about S3. S3, guys, what is this S3, guys? Simple Storage Service. S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. Simple Storage Service. Right, in S3 what we are going to do, guys? We are going to create the buckets. In Inside the buckets, we are going to store the objects. Right here, objects files only, guys. Here, everything we will be created, uploaded in the files only. Right? We will call it as objects. Those files we will call it as objects. How to create the S3 bucket, how to upload the files, right? How to write all those things we need to discuss, guys. All those things we need to discuss. S3 also storage only. Right? So next, after completing this S3, we will talk about Route 53. Route 53. Right? What is this Route 53, guys? Here, DNS mapping. DNS mapping, guys. Guys, right? We have developed one application. For that application, that URL is available. That URL is too long. People can't able to remember that URL, guys. Right? Don't give such kind of URLs to people to access your application. See here, Gmail URL is there, www.gmail.com. Right? Facebook, www.facebook.com. See how much cute these URLs. Such kind of URLs we need to create. Such kind of URLs we need to provide to the customers. If you give, right, 2 lines of the URL, they can't able to remember. That is not correct also. Right? How you can able to create the such kind of beautiful URLs? Right? For that we are going to discuss Route 53. Route 53. Right? Domain name service mapping. DNS stands for domain name service mapping. Right? We need to purchase the domain name. We need to purchase the domain name. That the domain name we need to map with the URLs. Right? We need to purchase the domain name. That the domain name we need to map with the URL, guys. Understood? That the domain name only we will give it to the customers. Customers whenever send the request to this domain name, that request will go to the mapped URL. See, guys, Route 53. Route 53 we are going to discuss. Next, after completing this Route 53, we will talk about RDS. RDS. What is this RDS, guys? Relational database. Relational database, guys. It is a database, guys. RDS is a relational database. Next, DynamoDB. DynamoDB. This is NoSQL, guys. How we have MongoDB, DynamoDB, these are the NoSQL databases. NoSQL. The relational database is the SQL database. Relational databases are the SQL databases. DynamoDB is the NoSQL database. Right? Next we will talk about right, bean. Guys, is my screen is visible? Please respond once in chat box. Please respond once in chat box if my screen is visible. See, guys, that after DynamoDB, we are going to talk about Elastic Beanstalk. Elastic. What we will do with this Elastic Beanstalk? What we will do with Elastic Beanstalk, guys? Elastic Beanstalk. And here, platform. We are going to create the platform, guys. PAS. PAS. This Elastic Beanstalk will provide platform as service. Elastic Beanstalk will provide platform as service, guys. Right? We are Elastic Beanstalk is providing platform to run the applications. Right. Next one is right VPC. VPC. This is very, very important, guys. VPC. VPC. What is this VPC, guys? What is VPC? Virtual Private Cloud. Virtual Private Cloud. Virtual Private Cloud. Right. If you want, right, separate network. If you want private network, right, we need to go with this VPC. Right. These are the chargeable, guys. Private network means this is the chargeable. Right, virtual private cloud. How to create the virtual private clouds? Right, we are going to discuss it here. Next, guys, Serverless computing we are going to discuss. Serverless computing we are going to discuss, which is lambdas. Lambdas. What is this lambdas? It is serverless computing. Lambdas is the serverless computing. Next guys, CloudWatch. CloudWatch. So this is for monitoring purpose. We need to monitor the applications, guys. We need to monitor the applications. We need to monitor the infrastructure and all. For that, we are going to discuss CloudWatch. Monitoring purpose. CloudWatch monitoring purpose. Next, we will talk about. Right, EKS. EKS we will discuss. What is EKS? Elastic Kubernetes Service. Right, this EKS we will discuss in our DevOps sessions, guys. Elastic Kubernetes Service. For this EKS, Kubernetes knowledge is required. There we will discuss this EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service. Right, in DevOps we will discuss EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service. Next we will talk about ECS. Next we will talk about ECS. Fine. So next ECS. What is this ECS, guys? Elastic Container Service. ECS stands for Elastic Container Service we are going to discuss. Elastic Container Service we are going to discuss. Next we will discuss about SNS. What is this SNS, guys? Here we will use this SNS for notifications purpose, guys. If you want to send the notifications to anyone, we will use this SNS. Right, a simple notification service. Simple notification service. Simple notification service. Next one is SAS. SAS stands for what? Simple email service. If you want to send any emails, we need to use this SES, email service. Next one is SQS. What is SQS stands for? It's simple queue services. Simple queue services. Right. Next we will talk about cloud formation. Cloud formation we will discuss. This is for infrastructure using a code. Right, infrastructure IaaC, infrastructure as a code. Right, infrastructure as code. Right, here we are creating the Linux virtual machines through GUI. We are creating the Linux virtual machines through GUI. In cloud formation, we will create the infrastructure through code. I will write some code to create the infrastructure. Right? In cloud formation, I will write some code to create the infrastructure. Here I am not going to use the GUI to create the infrastructure. Right. Next I am going to discuss IAM. IAM, Identity and Access Management. Identity and Access Management, etc. See guys, all these things we are going to discuss in next 30 days. All these things we are going to discuss in next 30 days. Please have a look into this, guys. Please have a look into this course content, what we are going to discuss in the next 30 days. What is cloud computing? Advantages if you go with cloud computing. Right, what AWS services we are going to discuss in this course, what regions are available, what availability zones are available, what is the data center, how data center look like, right, EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud, right, inside this Elastic Compute Cloud only, we are going to discuss how to create the Windows virtual machines, how to create the Linux virtual machines, how to create the security groups, how to configure the inbound rules in the security groups, how to configure the outbound rules in the security group, right? What is key pair, what is public key pair, what is private key pair, all those things we are going to discuss in EC2. Next, EBS, right? This is Elastic Storage, guys. Elastic Block Store, ELB Load Balancer, ASG Auto Scaling, S3, it is also storage service. Route 53 for DNS mapping, RDS, it is a relational database. DynamoDB, it is NoSQL database. Next, Elastic Beanstalk to create the platform as service. Next, VPC, it will provide virtual private cloud. Next, Lambdas for serverless computing. Next, CloudWatch for monitoring purpose. Next, EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Services. Next, ECS, Elastic Container Services. SNS to send the notifications. SES to send the emails. Right, simple queue services. Cloud formation to create the infrastructure. IAM, identity and access management. Please go through this content, guys. Guys, if you want to understand all these things, right, what are the prerequisites? Linux basics are important. Right, if you guys are not completed the Linux basics, please complete those Linux basics. Right, before completing first 3 to 4, right, before completing these things, you guys should complete those Linux basics. Once we started EC2, right, from there we need that Linux basics, guys. Okay, fine. Right, guys, now tell me, what is AWS, guys? What is AWS? What is AWS? AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. Amazon Web Services. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. Right. Amazon is a company. Amazon company is providing some services through web. That's why this name AWS came, guys. Amazon is the name of the company. That company is providing some services through internet. Internet is nothing but what? Web, guys. Web is nothing but internet. Through that internet, Amazon company is providing the services. That's why AWS name came, guys. What is AWS? Amazon Web Services. This Amazon company is providing some services through internet. Through internet, Amazon is providing the services. That's why this AWS name came. AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. Right. So next, right, Amazon company. This Amazon company is providing cloud infrastructure, guys. What Amazon company is providing? Services meant. What services it is providing? What services it is providing? Amazon company is providing cloud infrastructure. Cloud infrastructure from the year of 2006, guys. From the year of 2006 onwards, Amazon company is providing infrastructures, cloud infrastructures for the rent, guys. Understood, guys? AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. From when Amazon company is providing these services? From 2006 onwards. From 2006 onwards, Amazon company is providing cloud infrastructures. Cloud infrastructures it is providing. Right. So next up, this Amazon company is providing services to Amazon company is providing services Amazon company is providing services for 190 plus countries, guys. 190 plus countries around the global. Yes, Amazon company is providing services for 190 plus countries. 190 plus countries are using Amazon providing services for it around the global, guys. See, guys, what is AWS? Amazon Web Services. Right, they are providing the cloud infrastructure from 2006 onwards. Right, Amazon is providing the services for 190 plus countries around the global. Right, next. AWS provides highly reliable, scalable, low cost. Very cost also very low, guys. Low cost infrastructure platforms. See, guys, AWS provides highly reliable, scalable, low cost infrastructure platforms. Low cost infrastructure platforms it is providing. Guys, tell me what is AWS is providing? What is AWS is providing? AWS is providing infrastructure, guys. AWS is providing infrastructure. First, tell me what is infrastructure? Guys, observe these four statements. Right? Try to understand these four statements. AWS is providing infrastructures. Right? What is infrastructure? What is infrastructure? What is infrastructure? AWS is providing infrastructures only. Then we should know what is infrastructure. What is infrastructure? See, guys, I want to start one restaurant business. Right? If you want to start the restaurant business, what infrastructure is required, guys? Without having infrastructure, can you start the business? No, guys. We should have the nice building. Right? We should have the furniture, tables, chairs, furniture is required, and we should have the kitchen setup is required, and we should have the plates, spoons, forks. All these things are required, guys. This is the infrastructure. Without having this infrastructure, can you start the restaurant business? Without having any building, without having any furniture, without having any kitchen setup, can you start the restaurant business? No, we can't. We can't able to start. Right? If you want to start the restaurant business, how we require that infrastructure? Same way, for our application development and deployment purpose also, we need one infrastructure. Right? If you want to start the restaurant business, how you want that infrastructure setup? Same way, for developing the software application and deploying the software application, we should have one infrastructure. That infrastructure AWS is providing. Suppose, right, I want to take the classes, guys. If I want to take the class, right here, I have some chairs, I have the TV, right, I have internet connection, right, I have internet connection, right, light, power is there, right, all these things, this room is required, right, all these things are required, then only I can able to conduct the offline sessions. Then only I can able to take the offline sessions. Without having all these things, can I take the offline session? If I have only laptop, with only laptop, can I take the offline sessions? No, guys. If I want to take the offline session, some rooms is required. Inside the chairs are required. One TV is required. Internet is required. Power is required. All these things are required to take the offline classes. Right? This is called infrastructure. Take the offline sessions, this infrastructure is required. Same way, for developing the application and for deploying the application, we should have some infrastructure. Right? Infrastructure is providing by AWS. Amazon is providing that infrastructure. Right? If you want, you can set up that infrastructure also. If you want, you can set up that infrastructure in your premises, in your company also. But you need to face some problems, guys. You will face some issues if you set up the infrastructure in your own. Understood, guys? See, guys, infrastructure you can take from the cloud providers. You can take the infrastructure from the cloud providers. Or you can set up the infrastructure in your own office. Also. Right? If you set up this infrastructure in your office, you will face some problems. You will face some issues. To overcome those issues, right, we are taking this infrastructure from the cloud providers. Right? Nowadays, almost all companies are going for this cloud computing only. No one is setting infrastructure in their own premises. Almost all the companies are taking from cloud only. Understood, guys? Simple, guys. Right? In your home, one marriage function is there. Marriage function is there. For that marriage function, we need some tent house is required, some chairs are required, right? So 1,000 people you are inviting. For 1,000 people, right, 1,000 chairs are required. At least 300-400 tables are required, and you need to prepare the food for all those people. Right? Some kitchen setup is required. Right? All these things are required, guys. Okay. Right? How many days you will do that marriage function? 1 day or 2 days? 1 day or 2 days. After that, there is no use of these items, right? Right? For 1 day or 2 days, if you purchase these many items, with money, right? After 2 days, what you will do with these items? Right? Money is wasting, and to maintain these many items, we should have some space also. Right? You need to keep 1,000 chairs, 500 tables, and kitchen items. You need very big space also to maintain all these things. Understood? Right? You will do function only 2 days. For the 2 days purpose, if you purchase all these things, money waste, time waste, all these things will get wasted. Right? Instead of doing this, what we will do, guys, in our hometowns, in our villages, we have tent house shops are available. Right? We will go to there and we will take for 2 days. Whatever we require, if you do that list, they will provide everything. They will provide whatever you are asking, they will provide everything. How many days you want, you can use it. After that, just inform to them, they will come and collect all those items. Right? How many days you are using? For those days only you need to pay the rent. 1 day or 2 days. How many days you are booking? For those days only you need to pay the rent. And here also, I'm going to start. Just I have a plan. Guys. I want to start one business. Right? I don't know whether it will get succeed or fail. Right? But I have one plan. Based on the plan, I want to start one business. Right? For that, I'm purchasing all the required things, guys. I'm purchasing all the infrastructure. Whatever I want, I'm going to purchase all those things. Okay. After 1 month, my business is not going good. What I plan to close my business. What you will do with those items? Unnecessarily money waste or not? Guys. Right? Instead of purchasing all these things, if you take for 1 month or 2 months for rent, right? If your business is not good, when you are going to close that business, inform to them, they will come and collect those items. Just right, how many days you are using, just pay the rent only for those days. Which one is better, guys? Right? Nowadays, almost all the companies are going for cloud computing only. No one is set up in this infrastructure on their own premises. Understood, guys? What is infrastructure? Right? If you want develop one software project and if you want deliver that software project, what infrastructure is required? We require machines, computers are required, and we require some web servers, we require some application servers, we require from database servers, we require internet connection, we require power backup, we require storage devices, we require security for that. Security is required, right? So we require one room, guys. Right, we are going to maintain that application in our own premises only. Then we require one separate room, air condition is required. All these things will be required, guys. 24/7 power backup is required. 24/7 network is required. Suppose if you do all these things in your own company, if you set up all these things in your own company, what issues there may be a chance to come? Suppose rain came, heavy rain came. Due to that rain, there is no power in our area. Even if you put inverters and all those things, how many hours that inverters will come? How many hours that generators will work? Right? Suppose if you don't have the power 1 week or 10 days, what you will do? What you will do, guys? Right? Because of that heavy rains, suppose your network is not working, what you will do? What you will tell to customers? Correct or not? Right. Okay, suddenly some earthquake came. Because of that, your building got crashed. Servers, systems, everything got crashed. What you will tell to the customers? Right. These are the problems we need to face if you set up this infrastructure in your company. Right. In your premises, if you set up this infrastructure, all these things we need to take care. We are promising to the customers 24/7 without any downtime, our application is in running condition. That promise we are giving to our customers. Right? 24/7 our applications are in running condition without any downtime. Right? Due to network issue, due to power issue, right? If your application is not working, what answer you will give it to the customers? Correct or not? Right. If you set up the infrastructure in your office, you need to face all these problems. We need to face all these problems, guys. To avoid these problems, we are going with cloud computing. We don't need to take care of all these things. Whatever we require, how many number of missions you require, whatever your configuration, just give that configuration to them. They will provide everything. Right. They will give for free of cost. They will give for free of cost? No, guys. No one will give for the free of cost. They will charge. Right? Whatever you are using, how much time you are using, based on that only you need to pay for the rent, guys. No one will force you to use extra items, extra services. Whatever the services you want, whatever the services you are using, just pay for those things only. Understood? Is it clear, online candidates? What is infrastructure? Is it clear? Yes, here we can set up this infrastructure on premises. We can set up on premise we can set up, and the cloud also, guys. Right, if you take on premise, if you go with on premise, we need to face some problems. What problems we need to face? One is security. First one is the security and privacy. This is one of the main problem. Next one is scalability. Suddenly traffic got increased. Suddenly. How you will increase the number of servers? If you set up the infrastructure in your premise, how you will increase the number of servers when traffic is increased suddenly? Next, availability. 24/7 your application should be available to the customers. Availability problem. Next, network, poor network issues. Right. Next, disaster recovery. What is disaster recovery? What is disaster recovery? Due to any issues, due to any earthquake or anything, your building got collapsed, your servers got crashed. How you can recover that data? Right? How you can recover that data? Due to earthquake, entire building got crashed. How you will recover the data? Right? That is disaster recovery. See guys, these are the problems you need to face if you set up the infrastructure on premise. On premise means what? In your area only, in your office only, in your building only, you are setting the infrastructure. If you do like that, all these things you need to take care. Understood? Right? If you go with cloud, guys, all these problems we can overcome. If you go with cloud, all these problems we can overcome. Right? See here, IT infrastructure. What we require, guys? IT infrastructure means what we require? Tell me. IT infrastructure means what we require? We require machines, we require, right? We require servers. We require servers in the sense web servers are required. Right? Some application servers are required. Some database servers are required. All these things are required, guys. All these things are required. Next, right? Load balancing we need to handle. Load balancing. Right? Next, network. Next, power. Next, storage. Next, security. Next, monitoring. We need to monitor 24/7. Monitoring. See guys, all these things will come under IT infrastructure. If you want to set up the IT infrastructure, you need all these things. You need to purchase all these things. If you want to set up the IT infrastructure, you need to purchase all these things, guys. Okay? If you set up this infrastructure on premise, you need to take care of these problems. Guys. Is it clear? What is IT? What is infrastructure? IT infrastructure means what we require. Right? If you set up that infrastructure on premise, right? What issues you will face? Right? How we will overcome these problems? All are clear? Right, guys. Okay. Right. Guys, tell me, what is cloud computing? What is cloud computing, guys? What is cloud computing? Providing IT resources. On demand basis over the internet. This is called cloud computing, guys. Providing IT resources. In interview, if they ask what is cloud computing means, what answer you guys need to give? Providing IT resources. These are the resources, guys. These are the resources: machines, servers, network, power, storage, security. Right? All these are the resources. Providing IT resources on demand basis. Whatever you want on demand basis means what? Whatever you want, whatever you are asking, whatever you are demanding, those IT resources cloud is providing over the internet. over the internet. Physically, they are not giving anything to you. Physically, they are not giving anything to you. They will give one website. We need to log in into that website. In that website only we need to create all these things. Physically, they are not providing anything to you. Providing IT resources on demand basis over the internet is called as cloud computing. Right? Interview, if they ask what is cloud computing, what answer you guys will give? Providing IT resources on demand basis over the internet. Right, next guys. These cloud providers giving infrastructure based on, they will give for free of cost, guys? No, cloud providers are not giving anything for free of cost. Based on pay as you go policy. Pay as you go. Pay as you go. Right? Whatever you are using, pay up to those services only. Whatever the services you are using, pay only for that. Pay as you go process. Pay as you go policy. Based on this policy, they are providing the infrastructure. Cloud providers giving infrastructure based on pay as you go policy. And providing IT resources on demand basis over the internet is called as cloud computing. Right? What advantages we have with this cloud computing? Advantages with cloud computing. Advantages with cloud computing. What advantages we have? See guys, here, right, very charges also very less guys. Pay as you go policy. And whatever you are using, you need to pay only for that. Only for that. That is one advantage. Pay as you go. Pay as you go pricing. Pay as you go pricing. That is one advantage. And next, second advantage is cost is very less guys. Low costing. Compare with other cloud providers. See, it cost is very less. They won't charge much guys. Next, scalability. Scalability means scale up and scale down. Based on the traffic, right, scale up and scale down is available. Next guys, availability. 24/7 your application is in running condition. Next is reliable. Reliability. Next one is security. Security. Next one is unlimited storage also you will get. Unlimited storage. Unlimited storage. Next you will get backup, etc. So these are the advantages which you will get with cloud computing. See guys, what is cloud computing? Providing IT resources on demand basis over the internet. And cloud providers are giving infrastructure based on pay as you go policy. Right? What advantages we have with cloud computing? See guys, these are the advantages which we have. These are the advantages which we have with cloud computing. See guys, if you set up the infrastructure, see, if we set up infrastructure, on our own, then it is called as what is this? What is this guys? Then it is called as on-premise. On-premise or in-house guys. On-premise or in-house. On-premise or in-house infrastructure. Right? If you set up infrastructure on our own, then it is called as on-premise or in-house infrastructure. Right? If you go with the in-house infrastructure, it is too costly, guys. Right? On-premise infrastructure is too costly, guys. Is too costly, guys. Everything you need to purchase with your money. Everything you need to purchase. On-premise infrastructure is too costly, right? And one more problem is managing on-premise infrastructure is very, very difficult also. Not only setup, guys, managing also very, very difficult. Managing on-premise infrastructure is very, very difficult. Very, very difficult also. Managing on-premise infrastructure is very, very difficult also. Clear, guys? So what is on-premise? What is cloud computing? Is it clear? Right. And what cloud providers are available in market, guys? Cloud providers. Cloud providers in market, guys. And we have several cloud providers in market. We have several cloud providers in market. What cloud providers are available? One is Amazon is one cloud provider. We will call it as AWS cloud. Next, we have Microsoft. Microsoft is one more cloud provider. We will call it as Azure cloud. Next one is Google. Google is one more cloud provider. We will call it as GCP cloud. Next one is IBM. We have IBM. We will call it as IBM cloud. Next we have Oracle also. Oracle is available. We will call it as Oracle cloud. Right. So next we have Salesforce. Salesforce is available. Salesforce also is providing the cloud. CRM, guys. Salesforce CRM. This is also one type of cloud is available. Next one, VMware. VM cloud is available. Next one is Alibaba. Alibaba cloud is available, etc. Like this, we have so many cloud providers are available in market. Among these cloud providers, AWS is leading. Guys. AWS is number one if you compare with all these cloud providers. Right. Amazon started providing the infrastructure from 2006 onwards. Right. 190 plus countries are using Amazon services. 200 plus services are Amazon is providing. 200 plus services Amazon is providing. 190 plus countries are using Amazon services. Compare with all these cloud providers, Amazon is leading in the market. Here guys, please have a look into this. What is AWS? AWS stands for Amazon Web Services. Amazon company is providing cloud infrastructure from the year of 2006. Amazon company is providing services for 190 plus countries around the global. AWS provides a high level reliability, highly reliable, scalable, low cost infrastructure platforms. What is infrastructure, guys? What is infrastructure? And if you want to run any application, if you want to deploy the application, we should have some infrastructure. Infrastructure is nothing but what? Suppose if you take IT infrastructure. See here, I want total infrastructure. Total infrastructure. For total infrastructure, what we require, guys? For hotel infrastructure, what we required? We required building is required. We required tables. We required chairs. Right? We required plates. Right? Spoons. Right? All these things. Right? Kitchen item. Kitchen setup. All these things are required, guys. And then only you can start the restaurant business. Okay, next, if I want to start the offline classes, what infrastructure is required? Offline classes infrastructure. What infrastructure is required? Offline classes, if I want to start, what infrastructure is required? Table, chairs, right? Here one monitor is required, one TV is required, network is required, right? Power is required, right? So whiteboard is required, right? Etc. This setup is required, guys. If I want to take the offline classes, this infrastructure is required. Right? If you want IT infrastructure, I want to develop one software project, I want to deliver that software project. What infrastructure is required? These things are required. Computers, machines are nothing but what? Computers, servers, load balancing, network, power, storage, security, monitoring, all these things are required. Right here, infrastructure we can do in two ways. One is on-premise infrastructure. Second one is cloud providing infrastructure. Right? If you want, you can set up on-premise. Otherwise, you can go with the cloud providers. Cloud providers also will provide the infrastructures. Right? Suppose if you set up the infrastructure on your own, then that is called as on-premise or in-house infrastructure. If you set up the infrastructure on your own, then that is called as on-premise infrastructure or in-house infrastructure. If you do that, you need to face some problems. You need to handle these situations. Security, privacy, scalability, availability, poor network issues, disaster recovery. These problems you need to handle. If you go with on-premise infrastructure. On-premise infrastructure means what? You are setting the infrastructure on your own. You are setting the infrastructure on your own. That is called as on-premise infrastructure. Right. So to overcome these problems, we are going with the cloud computing. Cloud computing also providing the infrastructure. All these problems they will take care. We no need to worry. What is cloud computing? Providing IT resources on demand basis. Whatever you are asking, whatever you require for your application development and deployment, right? Those resources cloud computing is providing over the internet. Right? Cloud providers giving infrastructure based on pay-as-you-go pricing. Pay-as-you-go pricing means what? Whatever you are using, pay only for those services. I told 200 plus services are available in AWS. Do you need to pay the money for all those 200 services? No. Pay as you go. Pay-as-you-go pricing means out of 200 services, if you are using only one service, pay only for that service. If you are using 5 services, pay only for those 5 services. right? Pay as you go pricing. Next, what are the advantages we have with this cloud computing? See guys, pay as you go pricing, low costing, scalability, availability, reliability, security, unlimited storage, backup. All these things are available in cloud computing. These are the advantages which we have with the cloud computing. Suppose if you go with the on-premise infrastructure setup, right here what problems, what you need to take care. See guys, on-premise infrastructure is too costly. You need to purchase everything. Computers you need to purchase. See guys, okay, I have set up on-premise infrastructure. Right today, right, as per my business topic, I have set up 10 servers, guys. 10 servers. Right, every minute I am getting 1 lakh requests. To handle that 1 lakh request load, I need 10 servers. Suddenly, my business became very popular. Right, for 1 minute I am getting 10 lakh requests. Right, what I need to do? Immediately I need to go to the market, and again I need to purchase the servers, and again I need to do this entire setup. Okay. Tomorrow, suddenly my business got down. My business down, guys. That I am getting again only 1 lakh requests per minute. That whatever you purchased yesterday, what you will do with those machines? What you will do with those servers? Right? That's why an on-premise infrastructure is too costly, guys. Right? And managing on-premise infrastructure is very, very difficult. Power 24/7 power is required. 24/7 network is required. Security is required. Storage is required. Backup is required. Right? Availability is required. Scalability is required. Right? All these things, managing all these things is very, very difficult in on-premise infrastructure. Right? So in the market, we have so many cloud providers are available. Right? See, Amazon is available. Microsoft is available. Google is available, IBM is available, Oracle is available, Salesforce is available, VM Cloud is available, Alibaba Cloud, etc. Like this, so many cloud providers are available in the market. Among all these cloud providers, Amazon is leading. Amazon services, 190 plus countries are using Amazon services. 200 plus service Amazon is providing. Is it clear, guys? Online candidates, please respond. Is it clear up to now what we discussed? Guys, this is the course content which we are going to discuss in AWS. To attend for this AWS, Linux basics are very, very important. Right? Without having that basic knowledge, we can't able to proceed. The duration of this AWS is 30 days. Right? Daily class timings 7:45 to 9:15, Monday to Saturday, guys. Right? You guys got the clarity what is cloud computing? Why we are going for cloud computing? Is it clear? What is cloud computing? Right? What advantages we have with cloud computing? Is it clear? Guys, whoever not attended for the Linux sessions, right, please go through the videos, guys. Please go through the videos. Please try to complete in the next 3 to 4 days. Next 3 days by this weekend, please try to complete that Linux basics. Okay, fine guys. For today I am stopping here. Tomorrow we will continue. Okay. Thank you guys. We will continue tomorrow. I will share this one. I will share this notepad. I will share this notes. Please go through these things once again, right, and go through the Linux basics, guys. Thank you guys. We will continue tomorrow. Thank you. I'm stopping here.